Hey everyone, it's Kane here. This week's episode is going to be another one of our old backup episodes. We had something come up, but also it's a good time to get through some of these backups. As you may know, we have changed lots of things, so if this episode sounds a little different, we'll be back soon with our usual MO. Thank you, and enjoy. Welcome back to Not Another Needless Sequel, where we talk movies and propose unnecessary prequels, sequels, reboots, and remakes. I am your host, Kane, and today I have with me my wife, who will be my co-host as we discuss 1999's Big Daddy.
I have a belly button.
No, you don't.
Listen, the only person who doesn't have a belly button is Kyle XY.
Nobody knows what that is.
People who watched
Nope.
ABC Family before it was Freeform. Isn't that what it was on?
Nobody knew what that was.
You know what it is. He didn't have a belly button.
Nobody saw that.
He was an alien with no belly button.
That's how they knew?
That he was an alien? I think so. They're like, oh, Kyle has no belly button. He's otherworldly.
What's the story of this movie?
Alright. So, a kid, Julian, a.k.a. Frankenstein, gets dropped off at an apartment, and this guy, Sonny, who's actually Julian's father's friend, decides to pretend to be his friend and raise Julian as his son.
I say it's been too long that we have not done an Adam Sandler movie.
Have we done one before?
No.
I didn't think so either.
Too many episodes without an Adam Sandler movie.
Should have started with The Waterboy.
This movie begins with a look into Sonny Koufax's life because his father calls him and he's just talking to him about, what he's doing. And you just see him doing all kinds of dumb shit. He's sitting in front of the TV, eating cereal, watching cartoons. He bought a surfboard in the middle of New York, and his dad's berating him. And his girlfriend, who's sleeping next to him, finally wakes up, and she's bitching at him about shutting off the alarm because she has shit to do.
She's a party planner.
Yeah, she's a party planner. She's got to meet with contacts, and this guy's just a loser.
Well, a couple things I had to think about that. She said she was going to Syracuse to quote-unquote think, but what does that even mean? Because she did mention that they don't live together, so why does she have to go all the way to Syracuse just to go think when she could just go home?
She said she's going to see her mother.
To think.
The thing about that, too, is they didn't really break up, did they? Do you think they broke up?
Oh, absolutely not. They didn't break up. She just said she needed to think about the future of their relationship.
I mean, it's rocky, for sure. The relationship was on the rocks, but yeah. I wouldn't think
Vanessa's
we
a
were
cheater.
Broken up if that happened to me.
Just like Ross and Rachel. They weren't broken up.
I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah, you're not.
So,
because I'm right.
Vanessa...
A break is not a breakup. Just so you can know.
Vanessa, yes, she leaves because she says he's childish. She wants something real. He needs to get on with his life. And you find out that he works at the toll booth about one day a week, and he's got some money from a taxi running over his foot that he has in the stock market, and that's kind of how he gets by.
Yep, and he did go to law school and has graduated. He just didn't ever take the bar exam. But all he has to do is take the bar exam and he would be a lawyer. Yeah.
And so you see him at the toll booth. He doesn't have a car, which I guess isn't completely abnormal for the city. But he hitches a ride with some old man who's just coming through the toll booth. When he finally gets back home, there's a surprise party there. Everybody says surprise to him, but it wasn't actually for him. It's for his roommate, Kevin Garrity, played by Jon Stewart. Is Kevin Garrity the name of Tony Soprano's alter ego in that dream sequence?
Honestly, I have no idea.
It just came to me, and I think it might be. When he's doing his normal voice,
like
and he's like, dying. I'm Kevin Garrity.
Yeah, when
you're like, oh, that's what you sound like.
Okay, James, go back to the other, please.
Anyway, Leslie Mann's in this movie. I mean, she's a lot bigger these days, I think. I think she's a really good actress. You see her in a lot of things, or at least for a little while you did. I'm not sure what the last thing she was in was, but...
The other woman.
I don't know. She plays Corinne. Corinne is Kevin's girlfriend, and she's like, it's only Sonny. We wasted the good surprise on him. Because Kevin walks through the door moments later. The door is just left open by Sonny. Nobody notices that Kevin gets there. Everyone just kind of turns, and they're like, oh, surprise. Like, real just half-assed. Mm-hmm. And so she's upset about that. And you just kind of get the dynamic of how he's still, even among his friends, is kind of like the loser. All his friends are lawyers. I mean, Kevin is this going away party is for him because he's going to represent his firm in China, I believe they say.
Yeah.
And then his other friends, you know, they're all like, "Oh, I've been in the office all week, blah blah blah." And
I don't take it as Sonny's like the loser. I take it like the way I kind of took it is by the conversations he was having, you could tell that he was a good lawyer. He was like helping them with their cases, and they're like, "Oh, that's really good. I got to get back to the office because it's things that they never thought of." But I felt like it was more of like because his dad was a lawyer. It's been revealed, you know, on the phone with him that maybe it was he did it because that's what his dad expected of him, and now he realized that maybe being a lawyer isn't for him and is trying to figure that out if he just went to law school to make his dad happy or if it's because he actually liked it. And so he's now in his rebelling phase and he's wondering if he realized it too late.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's a loser. I think in the context of the movie, they may have tried to paint him that way, but being in the modern day, not that this movie's super old. I mean, I guess it's pretty old, but you know, I feel like I'm on his side. You know, if you don't want to be a lawyer, then don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
The two friends that are lawyers of his, Tommy and Phil, and they're together in some way. I don't think they say if they're dating. Oh, they can't get married yet because it's 1999 New York.
They were all best friends in law school, and then Tommy and Phil fell in love.
Yeah, I only wanted to mention this because even watching this movie, I was like, good for Adam Sandler for being an ally that early on. I say early on, like, it's obviously overdue even at that point, but you wouldn't think that almost, that you'd see that in a movie that came out at that year.
Yeah, I have another thing to say about Sonny. You can't even like the guy.
Why?
He's such an ass. Like, it doesn't matter that Corinne is a waitress and that she worked at Hooters to pay her way through
Making
school.
fun of her for the Hooters thing.
But, like, throughout the entire movie, he's just pretty selfish.
Yeah.
And, like, dumb. And even with Julian, he's selfish for a while. Until that lady, which we get to later, the lady tells him that Julian stinks. Well, and then he, like, turns around.
I wanted to mention a line that for some reason, no matter how many times I've seen this movie, I only heard it for the first time during this last watch through when he's sitting there and his two friends, one of them's leaving, kisses him goodbye, and then his third friend, Mike, is like, it still weirds me out when they kiss. And he's like, why? You know, that's what gay guys do. They're still like our brothers, just our very, very gay brothers. And then he says to Mike, like, what are you doing after this? You going to a Klan meeting?
Yeah.
Like, somehow I've never heard that before, but I loved that line. The next day comes, he's waking up, fucking middle of the day, it seems like. Mm-hmm. And his roommate has left for China. Corinne is still there cleaning up the place, and there's a knock at the door. This is when Julian gets dropped off by some fucking dude. He just walks him up there. He's like, some lady downstairs paid me $20 to bring this kid up here. Like, how fucking trusting of you in New York City to just bring him. Hope that your supposed baby daddy is in this room. Mm-hmm. But whatever. He doesn't know what to do. He's trying to figure out what's going on. And he calls Kevin because this is apparently Kevin's kid. Kevin's like, no way. It's not mine. I don't know what you're talking about. Can't be.
I don't know anybody from Buffalo.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to take care of it. I'll call social services. Says right here in the note. Don't worry about it. He calls them. It's Columbus Day. They're closed. So he's like, well, I'm just going to hang out with this kid for the day. The first fucking thing he does as a guy with a child in his possession is go to the skate park to trip skaters. This kid.
Yeah. Well, he asked him if he could, like, you know, what he eats and all this. But, what would you do if somebody showed up at your doorstep and dropped off a letter claiming it was your kid and, like, you didn't know about it at all?
I mean, blood tests is the first thing we're doing.
Even if the kid, like, and the kid's abandoned by the parent.
I mean, I can't run down the parent.
What if the blood test is negative? Do you keep it?
No. If in one day, we're talking, in the span of less than 24 hours, I figure a kid shows up at my door, I find out it's not mine, I'm supposed to keep it?
I mean, no, I was just asking what you would do.
No, I wouldn't keep it.
What if it's yours?
Then I'd probably keep it.
What do you do to the mother that abandoned it, assuming she didn't die 3 days later?
Well, fuck, she's just dropping off kids in the middle of New York. I don't want anything to do with that. You know? She doesn't need to be in his life. I mean, what would you do? As a woman, if you found out a kid was yours.
It was mine, I feel like I would know.
Might not.
How would I not?
Eggs? I mean, technology these days.
Is somebody going to take my eggs in surgery without me knowing?
I don't know. Can you just play the hypothetical?
No,
Fucking
because I
cop
would
out.
know.
Like I said, he's at the park with the fucking kid trying to trip skaters with sticks. He makes the kid like put a stick in front of this path that all these skaters are going down, which I don't know, was 1999 a big time for roller skates? A lot of people roller skating back
I
then.
roller skated in 1999.
Cool.
You were too poor to have roller skates.
Anyway, I like that Adam Sandler just did a little voiceover for one of the skaters that falls. He's like, "Goddamn stick."
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Sonny and Julian are spending the day together. You know, he's just getting to know this kid. Yeah, he asks him a lot of things, just dumb shit. You don't know how to talk to a kid. He's like, you know, you wipe your own ass? He's like, yes.
Yeah. That comes up later when he's getting taken away.
Yeah. What do you like to eat? Food? I like to eat food too.
Yeah.
Like, that's their conversations, basically. So he kind of like along the way decides to keep Julian because he's like having this connection with him, but he spent one day with him. And he also has it in his head that this is a big thing that he's going to do to show his girlfriend from the beginning, Vanessa, that he's mature now. He's growing up.
Yeah, his plan to keep Julian makes absolutely zero sense.
It's insane, right?
Yeah, Kevin, when he comes back, is gonna find out he lied when he get back, and then Kevin's gonna want his own son. Like he's gonna.
I was gonna explain that to Kevin.
Get taken away from Sonny anyway. Absolutely insane.
Which his friends try and tell him. They're like, the following day when he says to his friends, "I think I'm gonna keep the kid," they're like, "No." Yeah. This is a terrible idea. Why don't you sleep on that?
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck that. He calls social services. He's like, yeah, this is Kevin. He just lies and says,
it just came so naturally, too, which was insane.
Well, see,
what I don't understand is that if he was willing to take him as a foster child, I think with Kevin being in China, he could have maybe stayed with him. That would have made a better plot for the movie, that he just takes care of him until Kevin gets back if he doesn't lie. Him lying complicated the entire storyline. That made no sense.
Well, maybe, but we're talking about adding another 30 minutes to an Adam Sandler movie to make you feel like, oh, okay, this is how the world would be. No. I mean, we're also talking about a situation where you're able to call social services, claim you're a person, and just say, this kid's mine now. And they're like, totally.
Yeah.
Keep it. I'll mail you the shit.
They probably do that still.
No, I hope not. Well, look, he's hanging out with this kid. He goes to the bar, and I like that scene just because there's that old man, Mr. Hurley, and he's just, like, shit-talking him. He hears Sonny talking to Julie, and he's like, everybody's so busy, they don't come out to the bar anymore like they used to. And Mr. Hurley's like I'm not busy? Like, he gets all offensive. Also, you see Jackie Sandler. I unfortunately don't know what her last name was. Jackie Sandler, his future wife, that's where they met. Is that movie. Like, that was her very first acting role. She's a waitress at that bar. She has, like, 2 lines. Mm-hmm. Like, she's like, sure, I'll bring you some soda, and what are you doing here, cutie? And that's where they met. And,
been together ever since.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, because she does show up in a lot of his movies. It's very, very small parts always. But another thing about that is, obviously, Julian is played by Dylan and Cole Sprouse. And Dylan Sprouse actually recently spoke about this movie. He said, nowadays, everything is very fast. Feature-length movies will take a month. We shot that movie for 4 months. And he said Big Daddy took 4 months because between every take, Adam had a cooler full of beer and a basketball set up that he would watch in between takes. So it just dragged on. It was amazing. Like, I just imagine they couldn't get him back on fucking set. He's like, hold on. Like, this, something's happening. I gotta watch this.
Yeah. While he drinks his beer.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So, after he decides to keep Julian, the next day, kind of his first day as a real dad, it's just immediately going downhill from the previous time that he spent with him. He wakes up to Julian standing at his bedside, just staring at him, and he's like, go to bed. What the hell are you doing? And he's like, I wet the bed. Of course, he goes there, just a big-ass piss stain on the bed, and he puts newspaper on it. Like,
and tells him to lay on it like a dog.
Yeah, and of course kids don't go back to bed. So he's just on the newspaper. He just keeps turning, and he's.
Do you think they just told Dylan or Cole, whoever that was, just turn in circles?
Yeah, just keep rolling around.
And they just rolled in a single circle.
Yeah, and he's in fucking bed and he hears it. He's like, "No, sit still."
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually he gets up and he's like, "Well, the good thing about being up is
McDonald's breakfast.
Yeah, well, actually, I guess before the McDonald's breakfast, Julian tries to pour himself some cereal, and kids do this thing where when they start to spill liquid, they, like, give up. They just, like, as soon as they're pouring a little bit of milk, some gets on the table, they nearly toss the entire thing. They're just like...
Well, he did.
Yeah.
And that got covered with newspaper as well, everyone.
Yes, he just covers the milk with newspaper. So he tries to take him to McDonald's, and... it's just a nightmare along the way, you know. The kid has to go fucking pee. There's no bathrooms, or he tries to get into this restaurant, and the guy's a dick. He's like, customers only.
They pee on the restaurant door.
Yeah, they pee on the side, whatever, and then they walk by a homeless guy played by Steve Buscemi, and he keeps asking him why to everything. He's like, "Why are you out here?" And he tells a story. Why? And he's like,
it's like a therapy session.
Yeah, he's just trying to end the conversation. And then when they finally get into McDonald's, of course, again, the way kids are, he's like, "What do you want? Cheerios, lasagna." Just stupid fucking answers. And, you know, they don't serve breakfast at whatever fucking time he was there.
He got there at 11:03, and they stopped serving it at 10:30, and he thought it was 11.
Yeah. And so it's just, you know, miserable. Finally, later on, they're at home. He's trying to watch a goddamn hockey game, and Julian's in front of the TV, bouncing around, mimicking him. Yeah, just nonsense. And he wants something to eat. And Sonny, being a bad dad, just gives him all the junk food you can think of. Like, you see a scene of Julian passed out on the table, just surrounded by junk food. There's everything there.
Yeah.
And he gets back to watching his game. Julian wakes back up. He starts demanding to watch this kangaroo song thing he claims he watches after all his naps. He puts it on, he's hopping around, and of course he throws up all the shit that he ate.
Which newspaper then goes on that.
Yeah, he puts newspaper on the throw up. Like, the house is just full of newspaper on all these stains.
It's seeping into everything.
And so he's like, "All right, I don't know what to do. Like, we're gonna go meet Vanessa. Maybe she'll know what to do." Which, again, like, what a selfish, like, you're like, "All right, well, I adopted this kid to show Vanessa I'm mature, but fuck, this is miserable. I gotta get her involved in here.
So she can take care of him."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So they go to Vanessa's, and that's where we meet Sid, Vanessa's new sugar daddy?
No. When he gets in there, he realizes Sid is hiding in the bathroom, and it's her new man. And, I mean, that scene's funny, you know.
It's an old man.
Yeah, he's quite a bit older. I mean, he's that thing that Adam Sandler does. He's got an obsession, I think, with Colonel Sanders. He's another man that sort of looks like Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I think what she says is, he's got a 5-year plan, and he's like, "What, to stay alive?"
Yeah, he's like, "What is it? Don't die."
Yeah, because he's so old. But her being with that old man screamed daddy issues to me. Because she was like looking to move on with her life, and why would she get with like a grandpa? He's like, "My grandkids." Blah, blah. Why would she get with a grandpa if she wanted kids of her own?
Yeah, I mean, her situation didn't make sense. Plus, yeah, it seemed like cheating because it didn't seem like they broke up. Granted, he's in the wrong for adopting this kid. She was fucked up too. So, being, again, kind of the selfish guy he is, he's like, "All right, well, I can't keep you. Like, you know, I'm in over my head. I thought she was going to help. Can't do it." He tries to get in contact with social services, and they're like, "Sure, but we don't have a family lined up anymore. He's going to go into a home." That makes Sonny feel bad, and he's like, "Well, let me just keep him." Not to mention, during that scene, Julian runs up to him and is like, "Look, I learned how to tie my shoes like you showed me." And there is these little sweet scenes in the movie that are, like, kind of really emotional, and it's scenes like that where you feel sad about the situation. There's an earlier scene, too, I didn't mention, where Julian's, like, laying in bed, and he's like, "Sonny, are you my dad?" And, like, those little emotional moments in the movie, I think, make it a lot better. Like, it's not just a nonsense, stupid comedy for the sake of being that. Like, there is a little bit of a story underneath all that that's, you know, a drama.
Well, him at the DHS office, it's revealed that Julian's mom died.
Yeah, that too.
Because she had cancer. And I just, like, yeah, she died, but she could have told Kevin that she was dying and that he needed to take Sunny. She didn't just have to drop, Julian, and she didn't have to just drop Julian off on the doorstep, because now Julian is always going to think his mom abandoned him currently, because he does not know that she's dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a hard conversation in his future. She could have handled it differently for sure. So he decides to keep Julian for the time being, just so he doesn't have to go into a group home while they find him a new family. And he calls his dad. He already has a bad relationship with his father, and when he tells his father, I adopted a kid, his father, of course, is like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you cannot have a kid. Mm-hmm. Rightfully so, I would say. But he gets mad, and in response to the way his dad just treated him, he goes to Julian. He's like, you know what? I'm going to let you do whatever you want. Like, do you even like the name Julian? Like, what do you want to be called? You know, he's a fucking kid. So he's like, Frankenstein. And then you get a little montage of him letting Julian do what he wants. I mean, he's dressing himself in like a tank top and fucking rain boots with a cape. He is wearing fucking a fishing hat around. He's eating packets of ketchup, and he gives him like a slingshot. He goes outside and he like calls Sunny. He's like, Sunny, come out here. And Sunny goes out onto this little porch to see what Julian's trying to show him, and he killed just like 20-30 pigeons with the slingshot. And he's like, give me that, just go inside, do whatever you want. Like,
yeah,
he told him to shoot fucking beer cans or something, and that's what he did.
He killed all these pigeons, and then they're outside at the park, and he's sitting with the lawyer friends, Michael and Phil, right?
It's Tommy and Phil.
Tommy and Phil. I don't know.
That's all right. I mean, their names like never come up.
Well, I named somebody Michael in my sequel, and that's what I was thinking. My bad.
That's fine.
Tommy and Phil. And he's like, I want to go to school. And he's like, see, he makes the right decision. The fact that he hasn't been enrolled in school this whole time is wild to me. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, old boy starts school.
Yeah, so he starts school, and, you know, that's kind of a, well, I guess at that same park scene, I should mention, though, he uses Julian, again, insane thing to do with a kid. He uses Julian to try and hit on a girl. It happens to be Layla, who is Corinne's sister. She was there earlier in the movie, but they didn't really interact. And he kind of starts this small relationship with Layla. She is kind of pushing him away the whole time. She's like, you know, I'm pretty busy. I can't do this. Anyway, that comes up in the movie a few more times. But yes, he does go to school. And that's kind of a sweet scene, too, seeing that he's genuinely worried about Julian going to school. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I guess like a lot of parents are. I mean, you hear parents fucking say it in such a nasty way. They're like, ugh, they were crying. I had to shove them in there. But some parents are like sad that their kid's going to school for the first time. So he even has a conversation with Layla one of the times they're hanging out, where Layla makes a joke like, better be careful, he's going to be hanging out with all those delinquents in school. And so he goes to the school and he's like hanging out with all these kids trying to like see what they know. He's like, you guys like rum? You know what's good is smoking dope.
And the kid's like, I have a belly button.
Yeah, they're little kids. Like, they have no fucking idea what he's talking about. When he says rum, they're like, Rumpelstiltskin?
Yeah, and he talks about drinking, and he's like, Yoo-hoo? And he's like, we all love Yoo-hoo.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Yoo-hoo. That's
been
previously established on this podcast. Yoo-hoo is terrible. It's like chocolate water. Okay? Disgusting. Yeah, absolutely disgusting.
I don't know why
I'm having flashbacks to Dodgeball when he brushes his teeth with Yoo-hoo.
Ugh, gross.
Nobody likes Yoo-hoo.
I can't even believe... I mean, I'm surprised that Yoo-hoo still is around.
Yeah. I don't know how.
I've never seen anyone drink a Yoo-hoo outside of a movie.
No, and the Yoo-hoo, the label still looks like it belongs at the time it was released. Back however many years ago. I don't know when it came out, but it doesn't belong in this decade.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that scene's funny of him just trying to check in with the kids. And when a little bit of time passes of this, him being in school, the teacher wants to talk to him and is like, first of all, your kid is putting newspaper on messes. He's peeing in this plant. And he's like, a kid brought in roller skates and he tripped him with a stick. And he's like, nah. And he looks over and there's a little kid with a broken arm and a cast.
He's so cute.
Yeah, the little kid's shaking his head. He's like,
yeah, he did. Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And he also says, or the teacher also says, he smells really bad.
Yeah, and he's like, I let him be the smelly kid.
Yeah.
And that's what made him be like, I have to be a good father, is because Julian smells.
Yes, which he does try then, and it's nice. He has a little kind of montage of him trying to be a better father. You know, he gets him some real clothes. He puts on like this whole outfit to look like Julian's toy, Scuba Steve, to encourage him to study and start taking baths.
Scuba Sam.
Yes, his costume is Scuba Sam, Scuba Steve's father.
Yeah.
So he does all this cool stuff, I think, to try and be a better father finally, which is nice. In that montage, one of my favorite scenes is he's trying to teach him how to read, and Nazo, his friend, played by Rob Schneider's there, who also doesn't know how to read. And, like, he's showing harder words to Julian. It's like, I don't know, electricity, constitution, some shit like that.
Independent.
Yes, and he shows to Nazo, I can't remember what the first two words are. Fish, pony, and hippopotamus. And I'm, of course, not going to do the accent. I don't know what Rob Schneider's ethnicity is, but I feel that this was not a good accent for him to be doing. But he's, like, reading. He's like, fish, pony, hip-hop anonymous. And, like, he just looks at him, and he's like, damn you give him all the easy ones.
Yeah. And, like, storms off.
Yeah, that's such a great scene. There's another scene I love of him later when they're playing cards, and it happens a couple times where Julian's like, I win. And they're like, why do you win? He's like, I win. And he does that in front of Nazo, and Nazo goes, this is bullshit. He throws his cards down. He's so serious. He's like, every time, different cards. He wins.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's being a better father. It's good. It works. It shows him succeeding in his little school play. But finally, the guy, Mr. Brooks, the guy from the DHS office, shows up and he calls Sonny by his real name. Sonny realizes that this guy knows he's not Kevin Garrity. He realizes the lie, and they're going to take Julian. That scene is fucking heartbreaking. You know, you can't explain to a kid what you did. And while Sonny is in the wrong, and if you just heard about this on the news, you'd be like, what a fucking freak. Mm-hmm. We saw how it went down. It's very sad for us. And, you know, he's, like, trying to apologize for everything. Julian's like, I won't watch the Kangaroo song. You know, I don't even like that anymore. I'm sorry. And it's just so sad. Yeah. Of course, they break it up with a little bit of comedy. He's like, I wipe my own ass. I wipe my own ass.
I want you to know, though.
What?
Julian does wipe his own ass.
He sure does. Me too. So he immediately goes to Layla for help because she's an attorney. He did some stuff that he, I guess, would know about because he was working on being an attorney. Layla is like, I can't help you. And, like, I know that sucks, but at the same time, she's right. Like, this isn't her nonsense. You kind of forced yourself in here. She eventually, decided to go ahead and give this relationship a chance. But now you're like, I need you to drop what you're doing and come support this court case. Like, hey, brother, maybe you shouldn't have fucking done this in the first place. You shouldn't have tried to take this kid.
I know. And then in court, of course, I mean, he's got Phil and Tommy are his main, and he's like, I'm mostly going to represent myself, though.
Yes.
He just needs, like, a license. I guess you have the right to self-represent. It doesn't matter. And anyway, Layla shows up.
Yeah, she does show up for him, but I still thought in that moment when she was like, I can't, she was right.
No, absolutely, Layla's right. I have my whole thing at the end of this movie to defend my rating, so.
So, they have the court case for Julian. It's fucking hilarious because the people they're bringing up to defend Sonny is like Mr. Hurley, the guy at the bar he fought. They bring in this fucking homeless guy, Steve Buscemi. And
my favorite is he flashes him a bag of McDonald's.
Yeah. He's like bribing him. And even Mr. Hurley, when he's up there, he's like, are you drunk, Mr. Hurley? He's like, I had a few Chardonnays. What of it?
Yeah.
Like, anyway, they kind of convince the court, not only, I think, by getting Corinne up there, who doesn't even like Sonny, to basically be like, look, I hate this motherfucker, but he seemed a good parent. And also, he goes up on the stand and lets his father cross-examine him. And his father is also like, you don't deserve a kid. By the end of, they have like a very emotional scene up there where he kind of tells him like, I know you're worried, but, you know, I'm doing the right thing here. And his father does say he deserves the kid. Ultimately, he does not get the kid, which makes sense.
Yeah.
because the court's like, listen, I don't give a fuck about any of this. You lied.
He's about to go to jail when Kevin's like, I'm the father.
Yes.
He realizes when Julian is on the stand, when Julian says that he's originally from Toronto but moved to Buffalo, that he did meet a girl and have a one-night stand there before him and Corinne met. And he likely is the father. And so he's
They
like...
say pending a test, like, you know, there's nothing they can do, I guess. Which, I don't know the laws on that. Probably still something you could do.
Oh, well, he said I'm refusing to press charges.
Yeah.
Which would be...
But you defrauded the state of New York, I bet.
I mean, I know, for sure, 100%. And then Kevin's like, I'll take custody now. Like,
yeah, they just let that. They're like, whatever, you can hang around him. Like, probably a restraining order.
Yeah, exactly. You're never allowed to contact with Frankenstein again.
Yeah. So, Kevin meets Julian, and, you know, that's kind of a sweet scene, I guess. It's also depressing because you see, like, Sonny have a little montage of the movie in his head, which I think montages like that work better if it's, like, episodes. Because you're seeing just, you know, I just saw this. I don't know if I need a montage.
Yeah.
But it is a little emotional, which at the same time, hey, man, you're going to be around him.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been a lot worse.
Him and Kevin literally still live together at that moment.
Yeah.
I don't know why they had to meet at the park.
I know. You just let him meet at home.
Yeah, that did make sense.
But, you know, it's nice that Julian seemed to take to Kevin. Then it does a time jump. I don't know what the significance of the time jump was because it says very specifically 1 year, 3 months, and 6 days.
No, I thought the same thing. I was like, it's so specific. Yeah. I don't know.
I never looked into it to see if there was something. Did they mention his birthday maybe? Because when it does the time jump, it's his birthday. So was there something earlier that said when his birthday was? I don't know. 1 year, 3 months, and 6 days later, it's his birthday. You see, you know, he's now become a lawyer. He is with Layla, and they have a baby together. And
Corinne likes him now. I guess she came around after he got a job.
Yeah, she was like, well, now that he has a job.
Or is it because he's with Layla now?
I guess she had to. That's kind of the end of the movie. You obviously noticed I didn't have a lot of trivia for this movie. I will say that looking at the cast there was so many parts of this movie that were almost somebody else's. Like,
yeah. Not
only that, Sonny Koufax was almost played by the guy that's in Anger Management with him. The guy that's Joker, fucking...
Heath Ledger?
No. Heath Ledger. Anger Management.
Jack Nicholson?
Yes. Jack Nicholson was almost Sonny Koufax. And then because Adam Sandler somehow got that part, he was like, well, do you want to be Arthur Brooks? And he was like, nah, it's very sweet of you. And I'm like, what? That's like just one part. I'm telling you, the list goes on of people that were almost different parts. And it was so much that I was like, I can't mention all this.
Yeah.
Another thing is, obviously, this is an Adam Sandler movie. You know? Mm-hmm. So, Adam Sandler was in a movie called Funny People in 2009.
Oh, God.
Have you seen that movie?
Yes, we've watched it together.
So, you know, in that movie is Jason Schwartzman. He's the roommate of Seth Rogen's character. He's got its own TV show. You might know that Jason Schwartzman was, you know, he's a phenomenal actor. He recently appeared in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse as the Spot. Did you know that? That he was the Spot?
Oh, my God.
What? I'm just asking. You didn't know he was the Spot?
No.
Okay, Spot. Main villain of that movie. Well, it's going to be argued. He actually played that character. Now, what you might not know is this little spoiler that Donald Glover actually appeared in that same movie as a live-action Aaron Davis, who is the uncle to Miles Morales. Donald Glover actually also starred in a TV show called Community, where he wore Spider-Man pajamas, and the comic book writer Brian Michael Bendis described that image of Donald Glover in the Spider-Man pajamas as one of the major inspirations for the creation of the character Miles Morales. Donald Glover also voiced Miles Morales as Disney's Ultimate Spider-Man in 2012. So,
there you have it, ladies
you might
and gents.
have realized from all that, you know,
I mean,
Donald Glover, Miles Morales, hand in hand.
All right, what'd you rate this movie?
I rated this movie a 4.5 out of 5.
All right. I gave it a 3.9. Let me tell you why it lost that extra half.
Okay.
At the end, 1 year, 3 months, and 6 days later, why is Layla all of a sudden just like a stay-at-home mom? They painted her as a stay-at-home mom holding their baby. That baby didn't look new. And now Sonny is all of a sudden the successful one. She gave up her entire life to have a baby with Sonny. Get out of town.
Well, maybe she just dressed down a little. Maybe she had the day off.
You already knew that.
You want her to be wearing a pantsuit in
no,
Hooters?
But that's not the insinuation that I got.
Was it her haircut? You were like, she's obviously not a lawyer anymore.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you got that vibe too.
Well, is that the only reason it lost points?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I also didn't like Sunny.
I understand.
Other things, but yeah, mainly that.
Okay, I have a simple game for you. Can you put your phone away and be a professional? Okay, I have a simple game for you. Let me just start one more time. Are you all set?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a simple game for you.
Okay.
I have 3 jokes from these stand-up specials. Well, fuck, I don't know where they were said. It's 3 jokes. And it's by 3 different people. Either Jon Stewart, Adam Sandler, or Rob Schneider. I'm going to give you the joke. You just tell me who it is. It's horrible being alone. I threw a surprise party for myself. I parked the car down the street, tried to fool myself. I set up a piñata and a blindfold and a baseball bat and ended up at my neighbor's house beating up their grandmother.
Rob. John.
No. It's Adam Sandler.
Oh, okay.
You're not supposed to be ripped when you're old because your skin gets stretched too thin. It's like, look how ripped I am. Yeah, but I can see your heart.
Rob.
Yeah.
Ha!
Well, and the last one, of course, Jon Stewart. I don't want to die before my parents die, especially my mother, because I think that's because I think that's tragic, because I don't want her to get the chance to pick out what I'm going to wear for eternity. Was that the funniest joke for you? Because you didn't laugh at the other 2. Okay.
I didn't like the first one.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was Adam Sandler.
No, Adam. Do better, man.
Oh, man. All right. What's your sequel?
Big Daddy 2.
Proceed.
Electric Boogaloo. I'm just kidding. Just Big Daddy 2. I couldn't come up with the subtitles. So
Well, not every movie needs a subtitle.
So shout out if you think it needs a subtitle when I'm done.
Okay.
So, Sunny and Layla are working as successful lawyers but are considering retirement now that their children are grown and independent. In their final weeks before closing their practice for good, they're just wrapping things up. Julian walks in and is needing help. He's been framed for a crime that he didn't commit and he's about to be arrested. What? Your face.
I'm like, this got serious.
Yeah. It's like a serious comedy.
Okay. Is his dad, Kevin Garrity, too busy to help him?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. He asks Sunny and Layla for help since his parents are out of town on a vacation sailing Europe and will be gone for months.
They're too busy.
They're too busy. They don't have
Their
cell
kid's gonna
service
go
in
to
the
jail.
ocean. They don't sell service in the ocean. Get the fuck out of here. Sunny and Layla agree to help him, and when Julian is arrested, Sunny and Layla gain custody of Julian's son, Michael. They were unaware that they were going to get custody of Michael, but it makes sense as Julian is a single father since his wife died of cancer.
Oh my god.
At first, Michael's excited because he has always known Sunny to not be strict and be fun, but now Sunny is under a lot of stress trying to protect Julian, and he becomes resentful and doesn't pay attention to Michael. This causes Michael to end up getting in trouble at school for doing drugs, and he's under threat to be expelled. So Julian finds out, he yells at Sunny because he thought he could trust him, and not only is Sunny not doing a good job taking care of Michael, they also have made no gains in Julian's case. With the trial looming, Sunny decides to go back to his old ways to be the fun-loving uncle that Julian and Michael knew him as, and he leaves Layla to do the lawyer stuff. As Michael's improving when living with Sunny and Layla, Julian decides to post bail, and he's thinking of leaving the country so he doesn't have to be in jail because he thinks that they're going to lose the case. And he's like, Michael's in good hands with Sunny. I can just skirt.
Julian's a bad egg.
I know. Just as he's about to board a plane, Sunny's able to stop him and convince him to stay, all while Layla comes up after and she's found a break in the case. At the court trial, it's a hard-fought battle with some comedy, because it's Adam Sandler, after all. Julian's parents show up after Sunny and Layla call them for support at the trial. And Sunny and Layla win the case, mainly Layla. And Julian is free, taking Michael back, and they all go and celebrate at Hooters.
Okay.
Wowza.
Wow. Well, I mean, I didn't write that much for my sequel. My problem is, I'm not going to write out all these jokes that would be in the movie, taking up a lot of screen time.
I didn't write up jokes. I figured, this is supposed to be, kind of funny, but also have, a serious note, which I felt that Big Daddy did, but I couldn't really come up with, a good title. and like.
My first idea was to do a Big Mama, Big Daddy crossover. But then
that would have been so. That would have been perfect for my storyline. Big Mama is part of the FBI and could have come across because Julian's been framed for like tax evasion or something like that. We could have done it.
Well, I didn't. I ended up with Big Granddaddy. The movie opens up.
Just kidding.
The movie opens up with Sonny and Layla preparing their guest room for their grandkids and their pet dog coming to stay with them for a week. Sonny and Layla's son, Bobby, is going on the first vacation he has had in a while after Sonny insisted they would care for the children. Sonny is nervous as he has never felt like he was that good of a dad due to him still being so childish at heart and doesn't want to let his son down. Not to mention, Sonny and Layla do not have an extensive relationship with their grandchildren. Eventually, the kids and the dog get there. I'm going to call the kids Jack and Jill, based on Adam Sandler's, best-selling movie. And
Gross.
the dog Meatball.
Meatball.
Jack and Jill are 5 years old, and while things start off easy, eventually Jack and Jill do what kids do, and they want to watch TV, eat junk food, and not listen to their grandparents. Sonny is trying to be more adult for his grandkids, and he gets overwhelmed. They call over Jack and Jill's uncle, Julian, for assistance, and it becomes an adults versus kids and dog. After a while, Sonny's son shows up to pick up the kids, and to Sonny's surprise, the kids don't want to leave. Bobby claims he's shocked that the kids never seem to have fun at home, and they always seem so worked up and adult, and this is the happiest he has seen them in a long time. This leads Sonny to the realization that maybe being a kid at heart for his grandkids is a good thing, and he begins seeing them every other weekend.
Aw, how sweet.
I'm not proud of it.
I'm not proud of mine either.
Feels empty.
Mine did too.
Mine felt like it was daddy daycare.
Oh, yeah. It could give those vibes. I think mine should be Big Daddy meets Big Mama and then add Big Mama into that, and it could be good.
Well,
maybe when Julian's trying to flee, Big Mama comes and
stops him. But for what reason is he in his Big Mama outfit? Because
I have no idea.
Martin Lawrence was the FBI agent.
Maybe Big Mama was Michael's nanny.
But why?
I have no idea. It's too much. Just let the viewers decide.
All right. Well, thank you for making it this far. If you'd like to vote on whose sequel idea was the best, come by our YouTube channel for the polls or let us know your idea with a comment, tweet, or you can reach us at needlesssequel@gmail.com. Links, as always, will be wherever you are listening. If you had a good time, share a show with someone, leave us a review, and come back for more. We would love to have you. All right, be easy, everyone. We will see you next week.
Bye.